Hi, my name is Zulkifli bin Halim and my matric number is 271608. And for today, I will present an intangible cultural heritage that is very famous in Japan, namely Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre. So, before starting my presentation today, I will discuss about what is meant by intangible cultural heritage. So, what is intangible cultural heritage? So, the variety of humanity's living heritage, as well as the most important vehicle of cultural variation, is represented by intangible cultural heritage, which is made up of all immaterial expressions of culture. First of all, I will start with my introduction, which is to tell more about Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre. The intangible cultural heritage of the Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre was declared in 2003 and the year written at UNESCO was 2008. Bunraku, also known as Ningyo Johruri, is a form of traditional Japanese puppet theatre founded in Osaka in the beginning of the 17th century. Three kinds of performers take part in a Bunraku performance, which is the Ningyo-tsukai or Ningyo-zukai puppeteers, the Tayu chanters, and shamisen musicians. Occasionally, other instruments such as taiko, drums will be used. For the next part, I will explain about the domain of Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre. For Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre, it is divided into three domains, namely the first is oral tradition, expression, the second is performing art, and the last is traditional craftsmanship. Okay, let's talk about the first domain, oral tradition and expression. The oral tradition and expressions domain encompasses an enormous variety of spoken forms, including proverbs, riddle, tales, nursery, rhymes, legends, myths, epic songs and poems, charms, prayers, chants, songs, dramatic performances, and more. Oral traditions and expressions are used to pass on knowledge, cultural and social values, and collective memory. They play a crucial part in keeping culture alive. The second domain of this cultural intangible heritage is performing arts. In the performing arts, this includes musical instruments, masks, costume, and other body decoration used in dance and the scenery and props of the theatre. Performing arts are often performed in specific places. When these spaces are closely linked to the performance, they are considered cultural spaces by the convention. The last domain of this Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre is social practices, rituals and festive events. Social ritual and festive practices may have to mark the passing of the season, even in the agriculture calendar, or the stage of a person's life. They are closely linked to a community's worldview and perception of its own history and memory. They vary from small gatherings to large-scale social celebrations and commemorations. Each of these subdomains is vast, but there is also a great deal of overlap between them. Okay, next, there are 12 concepts that connected to this Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre. Among that concepts such as costume, craft workers, drama improvisation, instrumental music, moral values, performers, plucked string instruments, puppets, social values, storytelling, theatre, vocal music, and wood carving. Okay, let's talk about the costume. The puppets are replete with elaborate costumes and individualized facial expressions are handcrafted by master puppet makers. For costume, it is divided into three parts, namely the head, costumes, and construction. The head of the puppet or kashira are divided into categories according to gender, social class, and personality. Certain heads are created for specific roles, others can be employed for several different performances by changing the clothing and the paint. For constructions, the cuff wooden or kashira is attached to the head grip or dogushi and thrust down and opening out of the puppet's shoulder. Carved bamboo is attached to create the hips of the puppet. Arms and legs are tied to the body with lengths of rope. Okay, now we will talk about the puppets. The main puppeteers, the omozukai, uses his right hand to control the right hand of the puppet and uses his left hand to control the puppet's head. The left puppeteers, known as the hidorizukai or sashizukai, depending on the tradition of the troupe, manipulates the left hand of the puppet with his or her own right hand by means of a control rod that extends back from the elbow of the puppet. A third puppeteers, the ashizuka, operates the feet and legs. Puppeteers begin their training by operating the feet, then move on to the left hand before being able to train as the main puppeteer. Okay, now we will move to the last part, which is safeguarding in this intangible heritage. To safeguarding the heritage of the Ningyo, Johruri, Bunraku puppet theatre, there are three mediums or measures used to ensure that this heritage remains preserved and can be enjoyed by future generations. And among the measures taken by the Japanese or Japan government or community involvement, ethics, and his ECH and legislation. In my opinion, in relation to safeguarding of this Ningyo Johruri Bunraku puppet theatre, the steps mentioned earlier before this, I feel it is very appreciated to take care of this heritage. The involvement of communities, groups, and individuals is very important to preserve this heritage. This is because the local community is more sensitive and give more care to their own heritage. For me, the 2003 Convention to protect the intangible cultural heritage that has been done is very important for the local community to know what actions they need to take, as well as to launch the government efforts to preserve this intangible cultural heritage. The convention also contains 12 contents in which the content mention the rights and ethical principle for guidance of the society.